Hi guys, we're back with episode 21 of Buster's Book Reviews. Today we got yet another Dean Koontz book called The Door to September. Wait, or was it October? November? What the crap month? What? Oh, The Door to December. Yeah, that's it. Okay. You start out, you got this woman getting in a cop car. She's this redheaded lady named Laura McCafferty. She's a psychiatrist, a child psychologist. And she goes to this house where she's telling the cop along the way that her husband stole her kid like 6 years ago or something like that, I think. Been going for like 6 years, and he stole her daughter, and she's been trying to find him ever since. And she gets to this house, and she meets this guy named Detective Dan Haldane. Well, Dan, he's like, are you sure? I need you to answer some questions, but it's pretty gruesome in there. It's like 3 people have been murdered, and they ain't just been murdered. They've been crushed and slammed and bruised, and basically they ain't got no faces left. Everybody just looks like a bunch of hamburger meat. Anybody else hungry? But anyway, they can't find the little girl. Then finally a cop comes in and says, hey, they found a little girl walking around on the streets without any clothes on, and we think it's your daughter. And they're like, oh my God. They go to the hospital and they find her. And Melanie, I think that's her name, Melanie. Anyway, she's just all really catatonic. She's like almost autistic. She's just in her own little world. Her eyes aren't focused. She barely comes out of her little trance to say anything. And it's all messed up. And it turns out that her daddy and these other folks were doing these experiments on her. They was putting her in these dang it, what do you call them? It's those chambers that, like with the water in them, where you sensory deprivation chamber. That's it. Yeah, they put her in one of those for long hours, and they was putting her in this like electric chair thing to give her shocks and stuff, and they was trying to make her they were doing these experiments on her for years, and the whole book goes through trying to figure out what these experiments were, and it turns out there was a lot more people than those 3 doing it on them. And Dan, he's taking this case really personally because it's something that happened in the past, and he's from one division of the police, and he's with another division now because they're short on staff. And him and the captain there, they don't get along because they hate each other because they used to be partners. And there's a whole story in that too. But I may be getting ahead of myself. Sorry about that. But then after Laura goes home to make a place for Melanie to come home and everything, this hitman comes to the hospital, and he's supposed to kill the girl. But then the police find him dead with his larynx or his throat crushed and everything in his car. And nobody knows who did it or what did it. And so Dan tells her when she comes back to the hospital to hire this personal security company, and she does, and she gets this security guard named Earl, and he helps take care of them. He watches around and everything, and it turns out the FBI's watching them too. Well, then one night when Laura's making dinner and everything, this weird, freaky stuff starts happening. The air gets a lot colder, and the radio goes freaky insane. It starts going from channel to channel, and it actually starts telling messages, and it actually floats in the air and explodes. And Earl's like, oh, the heck with this, we getting out of here. And then when he starts to get them out of there, that's when the pace really picks up. Basically the book goes through trying to figure out what all happened to this little girl, what the experiment was, and who was involved with it. And your 4 main characters are Earl, the security guard, Dan, and the detective Laura, and her daughter Melanie. And it's a very good book. I loved it. What's odd about it is the whole book takes place within a 48, 72 hour period. So that's another thing that makes it interesting. But the characters are great, the story's great. This is actually one of the best Dean Koontz books I ever read, so it's easily 5 stars for me. And I highly recommend The Door to December. It's one of his better ones in my book. And I don't guess there's anything more else to say much about the book, but just recommend it. I recommend it. I think you'll enjoy it. And if you like this video, like it and subscribe to the channel. And you can get more book reviews from Old Buster here, and more news from Chris Snider's books and everything. And that'll do it for this video. And until next time, happy reading.